around, children. Roger, get that out of your mouth. It's time for a story. On the island of Ipso, somewhere in the Obari Ocean, there lies a forest so terrifically terrible, so frighteningly full of fae, so dauntingly full of demons, both diminutive and dangerous, that the people encompassed it in massive stone walls and band together to form the Damon's Vigil, a militia group spread across the wall in bastions dedicated to keeping the watch over the forest. To ensure the safety of the island and the world. For 300 years, they stood watch. We join them now at Bastion 320. These are their stories.
Hello, we're here with the Content Cast. We're playing Pathfinder today. It's me, Marshall. I am DMing today. We're doing a homebrew campaign using most all the Pathfinder rules and settings of Galarian, all of its canon. The campaign is called Damon's Vigil, and we're going to be exploring it on the homemade island of Ipso. Today I've got with me Daniel Chenard.
Hello. Hi.
I've also got with Ken and Big Cat himself, Flores.
Hello, all.
And DJ over here.
I feel much less.
I wanted to start and then bring the energy down.
Ramp it down to things that are less important. Thanks.
Yeah, and
I appreciate your consideration.
It's a best for last situation. Yeah. There's just less. He's just less excited about it now.
It's true. So you got build
foundation.
I'm
getting. I'm less exciting. I
bring it low, but and now that we all got these nice low expectations,
right, I don't believe your lies.
we can build them higher. So the expectations low. We're getting up.
There we go.
Higher.
Once you met a nice one when you start.
You can't begin at your peak.
It's true. It's sloppy.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's just jump on in here. We're gonna do some character introductions via some sweet storyline exposition.
Love me some exposition.
Oh man, it's your friend exposition.
Mm.
So the island of Ipso, in its whole, is a small island, somewhere in the ocean of Galarian. And it hosts the Damon's Forest, which is a forest that is perfectly circular and filled to the brim with fey magic.
Sweet.
The walls that have surrounded this forest, about 40 feet high, 20 feet thick, solid stone, been around for a couple hundred years. The Damon's Vigil have been around for even longer. The way Galarian seems to interact with this island is a small problem that just gets continually put on a different back burner. To that end, the Damon's Vigil is host of militias on station there for a couple years. They're hosted from conscripted criminals serving their time, pure volunteer service of just people trying to work a name for themselves or a name for their house. It is a hodgepodge of a community effort to watch over this forest and make sure nothing gets out.
I'm glad that it's a hodgepodge.
It is. And not a mishmash.
Easily one
They're
of my
sloppy.
favorite words.
You want your mishmash to be a little more hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Can we describe it more like a breakfast hash?
No.
I just don't want to. It's Pathfinder, man. This isn't D&D. Like hashes. Just want to make it clear.
Get your food analogies out of here.
A story arc, dude.
Hash is so 5th edition.
Fair enough.
So the Damon's Vigil starts pretty normally every day. The morning roll call. As you all members, you've been here for various amounts of times. You've lived your life here. The bastions. You sit at Bastion 320. Which is an outpost around the wall. Each bastion is on a 10-degree mark of the circle. So 10, 20, all the way to 360.
So geometry exists in this world.
So geometry is the word.
Good to know.
Yes, the little brother of trigonometry. Okay. They're related. Perhaps a cousin.
They're both a math.
They're both a math. There you go. They're both a math.
They're both a math.
They both have a math last
There you
name.
go.
So
They both share the math last
they
name.
all share the math. And you start this day, just like any other day, for you and for you. This gentleman, we're gonna talk to Yarstel for a moment. Yarstel, you wake up, and this is officially your first day here. Yesterday, after countless of trying to get in, be accepted, this is it.
Oh, Jesus.
They set you up, they told you to get to your bunk, and they said, after morning roll call, you will be assigned to duties, and that was the start of your life. Your new life. So you wake up.
What
kind
time
of-
is it?
Time is about 7:30.
That's early.
It is, but
That's real early.
But the sun's
for
out.
me.
But actually, you notice that when you wake up, and as you're getting up, a couple of the people that you've seen, maybe haven't introduced to, they're standing up as well, walking out the door. But you notice a couple of them are coming in to sleep. We assume probably the night watch, coming into different shifts. So you go out for your call. You can only assume you're following everyone, headed into the right direction. These gentlemen are here as well. They might notice. This new guy.
You're new.
So, what are you looking at right now? A voice speaks up.
All
Tell
right.
me- yeah.
So you're looking at a stout dwarf, about 3'9",
Gentleman's 3'9".
very wide in the shoulders. A relatively, not necessarily well-trimmed beard. It seems like it's starting to come in. It looks like it's a pretty young dwarf. Might be a little self-conscious about the length of his beard.
Young, closer to like 80. You know, a young.
Yes.
Actually, adulthood is 40 in dwarves.
Yeah.
So,
A younger dwarf, maybe 3'9" might be pushed. 4'1",
it's a grown boy.
A little bit.
4'1", and he's kitted out with a heavy wooden shield, some scale mail, and a hammer that seems a little large to be wielding in one hand, but he is, and he's got that slung over his shoulder, close cropped hair, and bright green eyes. And he looks at you and he says, "You're new."
So I look up at you because I'm, 3'7", 3'8" on a good day, depending on what boots I'm wearing. I'm not gonna lie about my height. All right.
Okay.
A little short. It's okay.
But I ask you, are you like dictating a book to him? I don't know why you're describing yourself to me. I'm looking at you right now. Your voice is very. You do have a very lush sounding voice, though, sir. What's your? You're right. I am new. You noticed. Great.
You might not have known this, but he has a curse in which he has to take everything literally.
Oh no.
There's no kind of like abstract thought behind that.
Well then,
Well, bro, you speak to me in your character voice, and that's what I'm hearing. And
Right.
I would so. But it's nice to meet you. No.
You're interrupted real quick as someone kind of brushes past you and kind of approaches you. He's like, Tenebrum, the shift last night ended with a loss of a number of arrows. So we're going to have to get that taken care of. And he kind of like gets distracted by something else and kind of like taps you on the shoulder and then walks away. You would know that man as Officer James Pater.
James Pater.
James.
No, sorry,
Pater.
Pames Jader.
Oh,
I
Pames Jader.
ruined the joke. I let it happen. I said the actual name. I'm so ashamed of myself.
All right. Well,
He kind
Pames
of
Jader.
brushes by you.
I've got a lot of work to do. Apparently, my name's Tenebrum, and you are.
Yarsel.
Is that his character sheet?
Yeah.
I promised myself I wouldn't do that, and it still happened. I've said it over and over in my brain. Yarstel.
You're still.
Y'all still aren't.
All right. Well, just follow everyone else. I've got something to go take care of, apparently. And I guess I head off to start repairing arrow shafts and making new arrows.
All right.
I lean over to this guy and is he like a captain or something?
You have been here for a little bit, so you would know that Tenebrom is basically the unofficial quartermaster. The guy he was talking to that gave him the order is the quartermaster, but since he's come aboard and been kind of dispensable, they just
What
put
are they-
him. They were
is
like he's the grunt work.
Is it like a
quartermaster.
He's
what's
like
the thing?
he's like
Is it
the
like
number
prefect?
two's number one.
Like when he came aboard, people would go to him for things when they couldn't find the officer, but more recently they just come straight to him. Like he's become like the guy.
Never be
for
too
stuff.
good at your job.
It's true. Like he just got like stuck. They were like, we can't afford to send you out. Like
I
you,
guess I'm never leaving.
you stock too well.
He's the leader of the people.
So
Well-
whether or not you have a full relationship, you would know him.
Yeah, he's pretty much the number two around here. He, you know, if you ever have any issues and you can't find the quartermaster,
Pains.
Pames, can't find Pames, then definitely try to find Tenebrum.
All right. So what are
Does
you?
he does
what's
he
the-
describe himself to everybody like that or?
It's weird. He did that to me the first time when I met him, but he hasn't done it since until right now.
Well,
But, like,
I
I'm-
don't know.
We
I
haven't had
guess
a new,
I feel special.
We haven't had a
then.
new guy in quite a while.
I'm so into this like canon character thought that every time you meet someone like, hello, you're looking at a dwarf with broad shoulders.
And the name's Tenebrum. How you doing?
It's like, how you doing? So they like clasp into it.
Yeah, he's pretty much the number two around here. If you ever need something, you can definitely look over towards him.
I didn't want to give the illusion that we were actually friends with anybody from Scotland. So
It was.
I wanted to be sure.
What was the name again?
Yarstel.
Morgolos. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
So Morgolos, describe yourself.
We reach our tiny hands out towards each other and shake.
Actually, right there. As we're looking over towards each other, we are looking each other dead in the eyes as we are the exact same size. And upon sizing each other up, we noticed that we're both.
Wait, do you think he just does it to short people?
I've seen him do it to humans.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Never an orc though. He doesn't.
And then
doesn't
as
do
you
it to
leave,
orcs.
you flash the gnome sign. And you're like, G life. And then you high five.
You like a little.
Like gnomes for life. And then you kind of like pull your shirt down. You both got the same tattoo,
just
and
as,
it's
like,
pretty
no
cool.
laugh.
Fucking gnome gang signs and shit. Oh
Yeah.
man, we're gonna figure that out.
Oh, dude,
We'll-
I found the
We'll
language.
post a
do this.
picture
We'll
of
do
it.
Yeah, we'll
once
do
we
it.
got it.
So Morgolos, what's he looking at?
You're looking at.
What kind of gear you got?
You're looking at a very heart on their sleeve in terms of appearance person. Everything you're seeing is what you're getting. What you're seeing right now is a gnome about 3'5", got leather armor on, got a dagger, and a backpack. Not all too much. Doesn't seem to not all that encumbered by too many material objects. Just kind of walking from place to place.
Comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Comfortable.
Yes.
Do you have red hair?
No. You instead of having red hair, you notice a fancy little hat.
Ooh.
Yes.
Are you bald but you wear a fancy hat?
What
Or do you have like
you can't tell because I'm wearing a hat.
The hat obscures.
Well,
hair comes out of hats?
It looks kind of like it's like a top hat, but then the top of it is a bowler hat. You know, so it's like
Yeah.
So it's
Okay,
a
cool.
bowler?
It's a really, really
it's a
tall bowler.
It's a
Tall
really
bowler.
Right.
So it's like
Okay.
so it's
Yeah.
like a top. It's
It's
like
a stove.
It's the size of a top hat, but
Okay.
then if you took the top part of the bowler cap and put it on top,
All right.
that's the type of hat you're looking at.
Cool.
We-
It's like a hat if your hat were
yes.
two hats.
Yes.
All right.
It's
So-
just it's not necessarily the fanciest hat, but out of all of the things that you see on this character, you're like, that looks like an actual object. Like you're wearing essentially rags, and you have 3 other possessions, one of which is a cool looking hat.
That's a nice hat.
That's
he's
a
got
nice
there.
hat he's
Maybe
got there.
He's a man of one nice hat.
Hope you didn't spend all your starting gold on that hat.
It's like no hides character.
Hides like the 1 gold piece back.
All right.
What do you mean you don't have a weapon?
All right. Back to business.
Okay,
Cats.
sorry.
So nice. No
We're still-
life.
are we in line for food?
Easily relatable. No, you're moving. You're following these guys down, and they're still kind of groggy. You can kind of tell when you look at them that this is like an everyday motion. Rather than they're walking around awake, they're like, it's time. and they just move it. Like, you could swear some of them are moving just out of muscle memory.
Right. The 6 a.m. zombie shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. So you all gather down into the back of the pit. Or the pit is basically the center of the bastion, right? And the bastion sits right in front of a tunnel that walks through the wall. So I'm going to step away from the mic real quick. This is the start of the tunnel over here. Lots of brickwork. Really, really just picture Night's Watch. We've all seen Game of Thrones. You know?
Yeah.
You're at the Night's Watch.
It's cool.
It's cool.
They kinda nailed it.
They nailed
They
it.
kinda
They
nailed
nailed
it.
that thought.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm okay with you imagining
Well,
that.
because
just
like when
as,
you think like a
station.
giant wall that's being guarded for centuries and has what like an outpost or a couple outposts around it, you're thinking what they did.
So everyone lines up in the courtyard, everyone lines up in the courtyard, and you notice they all get into a specific strands, 2 by 2 by 2. This watch is made of 6 people. All the watchmen in total, there's only about 12 of you. And then there are officers and then workers that keep this place going. So this is the day shift, the 6 watchers for this bastion. So you kind of look around and you see they're all in kind of lines. So you kind of adjust yourself to an open space, so you're pretty much in formation. And then the chair creaks a little bit louder when I lean forward this time. So you notice a man standing, a huge man, standing at the top of one of the bastion walls. He fairly green. And you kind of look at him, huge. You see, oh shit, that's a straight up orc. And because you came in
like a
full-blooded, straight up orc. The reason you didn't notice his bright green skin immediately is because he seems to have some type of paste, like covered his skin, like
War paste.
like you would think, kind of like either war paint or like a war paint or makeup or something. But he's got this paste that makes him appear lighter skin. So you didn't immediately think orc. You thought this is just a big motherfucker.
Am I standing next to
You are
Morgulus.
behind.
Morgulus?
No. Morgulus took his usual spot, which is dead center in the middle there.
I'm the number 2's number 1's number 1.
I try to remind myself in my
Command gets
mind.
a little shaky, but
I remind myself in my mind to ask later if everybody knows that guy is an orc, and if he's like trying to disguise himself.
Good. Good mental note. So one of the this guy to your right, behind Morgulus, he kind of like leans in at you, and he's like, "That's Big R. He's one of the sergeants." And he kind of like looks straight out, and then like back to it, back to full focus.
I lean over to him. You guys know that that's an orc, right?
He's like, "Yes,
you can't just say that.
yes."
I just want to be. I didn't know what kind of people.
Don't talk during roll call.
Sorry,
Alright?
sorry.
Standing next to him is a half-elf, female, kind of dressed in a beautiful, pristine robe. You've definitely never seen it. Like, she is a new entry to whatever's going on. You're not there, though. You're making arrows. Yeah, sorry.
Wait,
Take away.
yeah, he
Yeah.
yelled at me.
He messaged you from he's like he had a
He still
sense. He's
yelled
like
at you. He's just
said
like out of
no.
nowhere. He's just like, you're not supposed to talk to him.
from down the lane.
We'll backtrack that and say that I said earlier. Oh, by the way, don't talk during roll call.
You remember
Whatever,
specifically.
just remember
he said.
this rule.
Yarstel and myself are not good listeners.
Great.
That's bad.
So
I'm making arrows. I'm not there.
yeah, so he's there, and you kind of get the sense that Big R is in this like perpetual state of just like eye rolling. Like go ahead and roll a sense motive check, you two.
All right. This is
gonna
the
have a
first.
tan
This is
with
the
you
first
on
time I'm gonna touch any of these dice. I haven't put a single one in my hand. Oh, but what if I curse it? What if I curse it right
I'm busy
now?
being a gnome.
It's too late.
Doing gnome stuff.
Too late. What's its first roll gonna be?
Off in his own
Come on,
little world.
Teal.
Thinking about plants.
Come on, Teal.
Whatever druids think about.
Yeah!
Oh!
Yeah!
First
oh,
roll-
man.
first
fuck
roll on
yeah.
a new
All right.
die,
I'm really
D20.
glad I bought these dice. All right. Word.
Cool. Good
Beautiful.
stuff.
Yes.
All right, so
The
you
best
get
stuff.
the impression that something about her presence is putting a strain on Sergeant Bigar.
Okay, this
Like
is...
there's
yeah.
this like not
She's making
anger, but
everybody
he's-
nervous
He's
and uptight.
exasperated.
Oh.
Not like annoyed, just like this is a thing that we have to
Right.
deal with.
I was going to say,
Well,
this
for as much
like,
as we're
nothing...
sick of doing our menial tasks, you realize he's been here like 5 times longer. And this, at this point, watching roll call and taking roll call is a menial. It's the same thing as us buffing shields.
No, this sounds like corporate being here. You know? This is, well, that's what
Supposed
this
to be in
sounds
the
like to me.
tropics today, and instead I'm on this fucking mountain, I have to take a roll call.
All right. I stole your accent. I loved it so much. Give me just a moment. Officer Bigar, Sergeant Bigar speaks. Okay. Today, we've got Sydney Anna here from the Pathfinder Association. They want to do some tours of the Damon's Forest. And a quick slide cut. Scene transitions to Tenebrum, straightening shafts, whittling, making sure all the arrow points are clear and done. Officer Jader approaches you. So, having a good time? He's also a fellow dwarf, by the way.
Oh yeah, thrilling, this.
Look, I know it's, you might feel like it's been unfair being here for as long as you have and still not being on a tour. And, there's a bit of an important one coming up. And I think I'm gonna put you on it.
Really?
Oh yeah. You've heard the stories of the forest. You know how dangerous it is.
Well,
And truth be told, you've been so valuable to us. Like, look, all the sluts, half of them are running around like chickens without heads. Most of them are criminals or conscripts. We're lucky to get a few volunteers that are worth their salt.
well,
You've been here for a year and you've put your time in. But the dangers are unlike any story you've heard of the forest.
I mean, how bad can it really be? They're just a bunch of demons.
Fair enough. He laughs and he kind of like clasps your hands in like a familiar kind of like dwarven brotherly ways. May Torah guide your step.
Thank you, brother.
Quick bet.
Since we're right there,
Yes.
what is my deity's name again?
Gozra. Gozreh.
What's Gozra all about?
She's the goddess of nature. She's about nature.
Rad.
Pretty chaotic neutral, just kind of like well, nature will
Generally-
go its course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
generally about nature.
Yeah. Generally about nature.
Entropy.
If
Yeah,
there's a fire,
exactly.
at its finest. If
At
there's a fire,
its
there's a
finest.
fire. Meh.
Back to the courtyard. I know some of you have duties that you've been assigned. And here comes the Scottish orc that no one saw coming. I know that a lot of you
Where'd
have
that other guy come
previous duties that we've spoken to you about. So we're going to try to make this first tour a kind of lighter rain. We're going to go with short stuff here. More Malagalis.
Thank you, sir.
And kind of like goes back to you and then kind of goes like points over to another elf.
I would suggest somebody else also, sir. I don't know if having
And then Sydney Anna tugs at his leather like strip. He kind of like leans in and they say something. And then he comes back and goes, this other short one.
really.
All right.
I
Meet
saw.
with
I
the quartermaster.
Just
okay.
got.
That clap's gonna be fun to edit. That was really loud.
And like right here.
Yeah, right on it. So, all right, meet with the quartermaster for provisions. I'll tell you about the stock. Sydney, go meet your team. And then he kind of like moves off to the side and goes back into it. Jader, Tenebrum. Jader's like, why don't you go ahead out there? And I've already spoken with Sergeant Bigar. He knows you're on board, and we're gonna take it to you. Listen, we're escorting a Pathfinder,
Oh, aye.
so try to stay on your best behavior. We need to represent the vigil in very nice ways.
So, like, a half ration of beer then.
And he laughs. There's bigger guns.
Fun fact: a half of a portion of beer for a dwarf is 16 beers.
That's true. And he kind of pulls a flask out and he goes, oh, and kind of like tosses it to you.
You're too good.
So you head on down to Big R, and he's kind of standing there, and she's gone to meet with you. Sydney's moved out. Everyone starts going about their natural duties. They're out of here.
Being a dwarf, and you are like clearly towering over these guys.
Yeah, it's true. You're the big one of the group. This must be refreshing.
You're like a pig amongst guinea pigs.
A piglet amongst guinea
Guinea
pigs.
pigs. Oh man. Yeah. So you approach. As you approach, clearly, this lady belongs to the Pathfinders. She is just jeweled out, robed nice. She's got a big stack of like books and like journals and like decryptions and whatnot. Go on.
Do we have a good knowledge of what the Pathfinders are?
I'd say it's pretty universal.
I would assume because if we're going off of this being the age of the advent of like gunpowder, so the gunslingers are around. Major movements. The Pathfinder established like society has been established for long enough for them to be relatively recognized.
What do I know?
I got you.
I got. You want me to do my textbook?
Yes.
Yes. So the Pathfinder Society.
This guy's the one you want to talk to.
The Pathfinder Society is like it's like a guild that is broken into, I think it's like 6 or 7 different like factions that sort of operate inside of it. It's run by like this grand council, but basically they are sort of like
It's a team of Indiana Jones.
right. It's exactly. It's like Indiana Jones team. They have their goals are like their goals are kind of like shadowy, right? The people that run it, they're called the Decemvirate, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And like nobody knows who they are, and like they make all these decisions, but they like go out and search for knowledge, and they like try to protect stuff, and they generally try to do good things and not ruin things, and they are generally like against. There's like a couple like big evil factions, and they're sort of against them.
Essentially,
so they're a good
professional knowledge seekers.
Yeah,
right.
great.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like any character you'd ever want to make in an RPG, they're like a society of. They're like an adventurers guild.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. So like classic adventurer stuff.
Yeah.
She approaches you, and then as you know, I want you to maybe think about this. Been here for about a year. Never been on tour yet. While ago, a couple months. Still haven't said it right. This guy, however, 26 hours in, is on tour.
So I'm not as buttered about this as.
I mean, like, you don't have to have just like, we're like, what do you think Tenbro would think about that? Like, this guy just got here. Fair
Well,
enough.
he's gonna keep that to himself.
All right. So Sydney stands before you. She approaches you, and she's got like her journals. Says, "Hi, I'm Sydney, and I'm sure Big R already said that. I wasn't really paying attention. I was reading this thing about the Damus Forest. Have any of you actually been to the Damus Forest?"
Nope.
No.
Once. Short journey.
I look at him kind of in awe.
I spent my fair share of time in forests, though.
Cool. All right. So we're. I don't
I
think
planted
we're
a
gonna
tree
go in-
once.
I guess that counts, and she kind of like looks you over and is like, okay.
Possibly second guessing her decision.
Possibly second guessing. I guess I'm about to head into this demon-infested Feywoods with these characters. That's fine. She looks back at her notes. Says, "I'm just here to make a preliminary investigation for the Pathfinder Association. We're not going too deep. We just want to see if this is worth investigating again. The Pathfinder Association." Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. That's a big sneeze for such a tiny. Goodness.
I-
The
I-
lung power. The Pathfinder Association hasn't been here for about 60 years. So we try to check in every 60 years or so to see what kind of breaks in evolution we can expect. How is the forest changing? So we're just here to do a preliminary scouting mission. I am trained a little bit in healing. I prefer to stay out of combat. I'm not really built for fighting, so that is what I assume.
That's definitely what I'm here for.
I can see that. Goodness.
He hefts his shield, which also has an insignia of an upside down warhammer on it. That it matches
Oh
his
yeah,
hammer.
up and down.
Yeah.
Righteous. So, if I could just get your names real quick.
Tenebrum.
Tenebrum, okay.
Motorgolos.
Morogolis?
Yarstow.
Yarstel. Terrific. I'm really excited. But remember, I've been warned a couple times that this is very dangerous for us. And on a side note, all of you would know this. That Damon's Forest is terrifically
Quite
terrible.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Madam Pathfinder, are we heading right in, or are you going to give us a little bit of time to prepare for this journey?
And she kind of like looks at the sun a bit, and she kind of like gets her notes and goes, "Yeah, I was gonna do a sunrise today, but I guess if we could investigate, stay out till dusk, it'd be worth seeing what happens then as well. So yeah, go ahead and take a couple hours or so. I'll be by the gate. Collect me when you are ready. Let's get started." I'm really excited that the Damon's Vigil has accepted this as well. I mean, ultimately it was your call to let in, because you're the gatekeepers and all.
And when you say short delve into the forest, you're saying we stay until dusk and then return before the...
Short delve, we're probably only going to go about 5 quadrants in.
Alright.
You would know...
What does
that-
that mean?
Yeah, you would know that... well, you would know that the forest itself can't really be mapped because the topography is one thick forest. It's just treetops. So they've split it in quadrants, and a quadrant is about this. It is, I think, 20 square tiles by 20 tiles. Can I get a count on that real quick? 20 by 20? Yeah. 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 So they marked off, they measure things like that. So from the door, it's a quadrant 1, and it breaks off. This is nice. I'm going to give you a little representation of it. The quadrants go 1, then the one in front of that is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Because it is a perfect circle, the quadrants are measured on a single line to the center. So the one next to it would be 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, all the way down. And that's how they measure it.
Huh.
Yeah.
How many, like, are we looking at, like, overnight? Like, how many days are we expecting to be in there?
Till dusk.
Just till dusk and then back.
Yeah.
Great.
So you'll probably...
provision-wise,
Provision-wise,
okay.
you'll be all right. Coming back...
Lunch. We might need to pack a lunch.
Light lunch, you know. Eat some mushrooms.
I don't know.
That's
I can
an
probably just
exciting
summon
lunch.
some berries. I'll
Summon
just
some
make us
berries.
some berries and it'll be fun.
Oh man, this chair is so
Oh, my-
loud.
I'm so glad you said something about it. We're gonna burn it to the ground.
I just need to lather it up in some good old W-D.
For some reason, my first thought was lard.
All right, so any
Like we
type
should
of
lather it up with
preparations
lard. That
you'd
sounds
like to
gross.
take before you go into the forest for the first time? Tenebram.
I just spend an hour praying and meditating to
I have those spells
Torag
picked
and
out.
asking him to give me guidance on what I should have prepared for the walk in the forest. I go through my tome and I
Torag says,
Probably something that sets things on fire. I don't know. That's always useful.
and
Thanks, Torag.
no, correct me if I'm wrong. Torag is the god of the dwarves.
yes,
Correct. But specifically, it's like creation and engineering, like architecture,
so
like monument
his
building.
his
like
domains are lawful and good, and then earth and artifice.
artifice.
Really?
So it is
Yeah.
like it's like
I thought Torag
engineering
was one of
and-
the war gods.
that's interesting. I think it's Gorm is a war god.
Oh, Gorm is a war god.
Gorm is the god of weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Armor.
Oh,
So-
word.
Oh, and
Right.
protection. Protection is it? Yeah, he's.
Oh, Torag, yeah.
Yeah, so it's protection, artifice, and earth.
Torag and Desna are pretty good friends if
Word.
I'm thinking about that
So
correctly.
yeah. So
And Yarcel's all about Desna.
Nice.
Tenebrum
She's
is has anointed himself and
Nice.
is ready.
Right into it. Motogolis. In preparation, what are you trying to get done?
I'm always ready to go.
Nice. Anything for this guy? What are you thinking, Yarstel?
No, yikes. I don't need much. I'm just gonna pack up my little backpack with a few things. And I'm pretty much good to go.
All right.
Although I'm generally unsure of anything at this point because this is all starting to seem like a very poor choice. But
Oh man.
we're here
This
now.
is killing me, this chair. Oh god.
Oh, it is
Alright.
bad. It's so bad.
All right. Right, and so you meet with Sydney at the gate.
Now Tenebrum, the shield-wielding hammer dwarf, Morogolus, the mysterious snappy-hatted gnome, and Yarstel, the reluctant rookie gnome, enter the tunnel to the Damon's forest, with wonder on their minds and a mission to keep the Pathfinder safe. There's no way anything bad could happen. Next time on Content Couch Rolls 20s.